Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Tim Wigan. I am here with Vincent Sissom, and we are raising awareness about disabilities. Vincent, welcome back to the show. Thank you all for watching again. Vincent, how many shows have we done now?
Number 11.
This is 11. We've started, about a year and a half ago or something like that?
Back in 2013.
2013? We better get on the stick, Vincent. We got to make a couple of shows.
I tried to only do like 3 a year.
3 a year.
And the next episode for this season, which is going to be episode number 3, is actually going to be more likely aired in January because of work.
Okay. And we were just talking, you still work where?
Target.
And you've been there how long?
2.5 years.
You like it over there?
Yeah.
Good. They're good people?
Yep.
Good. There you go, Target. There's your plug for the week. We'll plug for 3 months because we won't be back till January. Vincent, you want to remind everybody, for those who I know people watch because they tell me they see me talking with you on the show. But for those who don't know, what is the show really about? We're talking about.
It's about raising awareness about disabilities and making people more aware of the different situations that arise for people with disabilities.
And what is your disability again?
I have 3. I have ADHD, Asperger syndrome, and mood disorder.
Right, and you've been dealing with this and focusing on this your whole life.
Yeah, I was diagnosed fully by the age of 21.
21, yeah.
Which will be an interesting topic for our first question.
Well, right, exactly, because you're talking about the first question, and these came off the internet.
Yeah.
My grandfather says that back in his day, disabilities didn't exist and that they are excuses for our generation to be over-medicated.
Yeah.
He refuses to take a prescription medicine because it wasn't around back in his day. And
he refuses to take a prescription medicine that was created before he graduated high school.
Or after he graduated high school. Right. So then the question is, how do I convince him that this is the medicine that he needs?
Well, I've got some good news and some bad news on that front. The good news is you just need to explain to him that he had to have been diagnosed by the age of 22 to be mentally diagnosed with a mental disability. So if he from what I understand, he's 69 or 70.
Right. It doesn't say the age here, but he says his grandfather, so you can presume he's pretty old, yes.
Yeah, so
or rather old.
69 or 70, and that's well past the age where he could be properly diagnosed with a disability and thus be labeled.
But he should be taking his medicine, correct?
Yeah. The sad part about that is for someone of that age to actually do that or change his lifestyle, he has to literally hit rock bottom or come close to it to admit, okay, maybe I need to be taking some better medicines.
And we don't necessarily know what the medicine is here.
Right.
He's not refusing, treatment, say for I don't know, a sore thumb or whatever. It's some disability treatment that he's refusing.
Well, basically, from what I understand, he's refusing prescription heart medicine.
Uh-huh.
This particular one, and he's refusing to take anything other than his aspirin, which his doctor's saying is helping, but is not enough.
Right.
And he really should be taking current heart medicines for his.
Okay. I mean, it's tough going to the doctor, but it's hard. I have a struggle with it, but take the medicines, right?
Yeah, I mean, even if it was screened after you graduated high school, it's probably safer as a prescription than it is over the counter most times.
Well, going
based on the fact that you have to have a certain situation to be prescribed the medicine.
Right. With that, and that kind of ties into our next question, which is, Vincent gets these questions from people who've been watching the show. In this case, they came from the internet. My sister is angry at her husband for vaccinating their son.
Yeah.
She claims that him having autism is proof of that happening. How do I convince her that her son didn't get autism from the vaccine, but he was born with it.
That's
you talk about
one
medicine. There's
that's
some serious
not
medicine
so
here.
positive, unfortunately, because from what I understand of people who are like that, trying to convince them with logic is like trying to convince someone that they could take down the Great Wall of China by headbutting it enough times.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's a good metaphor there. Or
So,
simile.
unfortunately, she can't convince her through documented processes. But from what I understand, while the father does not have autism himself, the brother of her husband does. So they. And he was vaccinated, so she can't claim that. So she could. The sister of the one who is angry probably would be likely to say, well, it's in his family lineage, so it was gonna have a chance that he was gonna get it regardless if he was vaccinated or not.
Right.
So if his brother, the brother of the husband, has it, there's a stronger chance that their children are gonna have it.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, autism. Do you know anything about autism and vaccinations?
From what I've researched, vaccines do not cause autism. And a worst case scenario, autism, if there's some study that I haven't found yet that says there is a possible connection, it's very unlikely that the autism is going to be that detrimental, because autism just means you recognize patterns better, but you're socially awkward.
Right.
Yeah. So, any form of autism, you recognize patterns better, but you...
When you say recognize patterns better, what does that mean exactly?
Like, you recognize 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 much easier than someone who would. It just... The main issue is the social awkwardness and not being aware of what
right.
social interactions.
Have you hang out with people? I mean, I'm not just. Do you know in your travels people with autism?
Yeah.
Do they tell you what it's like to how come it's awkward to feel in social situations? Do you ever talk about that?
Most of them, ironically, don't realize what they're doing is weird to other people.
Uh-huh.
And I have Asperger's, which is a form of autism, so I understand where they're coming from, and I have to explain gently to get them to realize, okay, this is weird.
Right. Okay. Well, good. That's good. I mean, whatever you can do to reduce the stigma and raise awareness of it. And the final question for this segment is, this is a toughie. My father disowned me because I have ADD. Disowned me. Is there any way for me to get back into his good graces, or should I even bother? That seems like a very kind of desperate question there.
Yeah, and I have bad news for that person. If your father would disown you for something that wasn't in your control, getting back into his good graces at most will either, depending on his pride, either do nothing or might make him hunt you down and make you regret trying to get back into his good graces. That's the sad part about this. So my advice, get away from him. Unfortunately, because if he would disown you over something like that, not worth bothering.
Well, Vince, I gotta tell you, I think it's good that you're doing these type of questions, because this seems much like it does in real life. Like there's a generational gap between, the grandfather. My father disowned me because I have ADD. My sister's met her husband because of, vaccinating. Where, these sort of gaps between people.
Yeah.
That exist, in regular life or people with disabilities. Like, I think there's really no difference.
Yeah.
Is that the point of this?
It's.
I mean, they're all terrible situations,
Yeah.
but people get disowned for different reasons. People argue over vaccinations,
Yeah.
and then some people will think the good old days are when it was the best, even regardless of what circle you travel in.
Yeah, I mean, one of those, the fact that these scenarios arise on a regular basis, I mean, there's so many different weird stories that I've heard that make me question insanity.
Well, right, which is, like I said, it doesn't matter what circle you sort of travel in for there. I will critique you on this, Vincent. You didn't have any good news for us this week. All your answers were bad news indicated.
Well, for some of them, sometimes you do need to hear hard truth to realize, okay, this is the scenario where I have to take this and put it part of my life. And accept the fact that, hey, sometimes there's not much you can do.
Those are excellent words to live by. We are at Raising Awareness with Vincent Sissom, and we're going to come back and talk about the Hot Topics section next. We'll be right back in just 1 minute. Thanks, Vincent.
You're welcome.
We are MCTV, Midshore Community Television. We want your help in making our station more robust so that we can better serve the residents of Talbot County. So, how can you help? If you are already making video content, submit that content for broadcast to the station. It's free! Are you involved in events, shows, or lectures that would be of interest to the community? We can work with you to figure out the best way to capture those events for airing on MCTV, be it training, equipment rental, or hiring our production staff to film at a reasonable rate. Do you want to produce your own show? Let us help you get started. Come be a part of this valuable community resource. Email the station at nick@avalonfoundation.org or visit us in the basement of the historic Avalon Theater at 40 East Dover Street in downtown Easton.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Once again, my name is Tim Wigan. I'm here with Vincent Sissom. We are at Raising Awareness, episode 13.
11.
11. What do you think I said, 13?
Yeah.
Just kidding. So, we've turned the show into 2 segments over the course of the 11 episodes. And this is our Hot Topics section where we kind of get into, pop culture or what have you, current events, really.
Yeah.
The first is, I think everybody is going to kind of
Raise
agree
an
with
eyebrow.
this, is raise an eyebrow, is Bizarro world. What are we talking about here, Vince? It's just a
Basically-
Bizarro world?
Basically, we are, as some people would put it, we are living in a world that people are like, our little clouds dictate our lives.
What clouds?
Clowns.
Clouds
Clowns.
dictate our lives.
Like, some of the stories I've heard make me question society to the point where,
Like, what's a Bizarro story you're talking about?
like, one topic I heard was that there's way too many. I could point people to this one series on YouTube
Uh-huh.
that is called How Is This a Thing plus the date that it's posted. It's done by Computing Forever, and if you watch that on a regular whatever it is, you will more or less be like, seriously?
Well, right. What do you think's causing the bizarreness? Is it the fact that we have so much communication? Is it the fact that, it's 2019 and we're not, it's a totally different, we have access to totally different things?
It sadly has to do with politics. People are doing things for reasons that are beyond human common sense. Which I will say, based on the stories I'm hearing, common sense is not so common anymore.
Right. Well, right. Yes, I think you have a lot of people agree with you on that, Vincent. Okay, so going on with this Bizarro world theme, which is kind of trickles down here, we're going to talk about vaping versus smoking. So, you have friends with disabilities who vape, or
No.
they're too smart to smoke?
They're generally too smart to smoke.
Right.
Well, vaping. But I wanted to bring it up because one of those asinine things that is weird is that apparently vaping has caused 8 people to die.
Yeah.
So, and cigarettes kill people over in the 6 digits.
Right.
Each year.
Right.
And you want to know one of the weirdest things that has happened because of the vaping?
Right.
The people, Walmart has decided to get rid of its vaping products, but not the cigarettes. Like, seriously, it doesn't make much sense. Like, if you're gonna get rid of the vaping, which has only 8 confirmed kills under its belt, and not even the type that was being sold at Walmart, it was the type that was being sold on the black market, it's one of those things that just makes me question. They're still selling cigarettes, but they're removing their
the vaping products, right? Well, what about the idea that they were trying to sell the vaping to younger people because of the flavors, the bubblegum flavor, the
Walmart would never do that, I'm pretty sure. Though, given what I've heard about Walmart, which will actually be an extra hot topic, that I didn't put that on there. I just was reminded of it, and it really upset me.
What's upsetting about Walmart?
Well, you remember the recent hurricane?
Yes.
That hit Florida?
Yes.
I don't know if they actually did follow through with this, but apparently Walmart was going to have its employees choose between either being terminated or being forced to come in. Like, if they chose not to come in during their scheduled shifts during the storm, they would be terminated, no questions asked.
Yeah, well, that doesn't, I mean,
Like,
is that a verified story, or have you heard this?
It's a pretty
Yeah.
pretty verified story based on people who were working at Walmart at the time, don't know if they're still there, say that their superiors were telling them they either show up or they're fired.
Right. Well, Walmart, you shouldn't be doing that. I think if people are scared during a storm, that's...
And here's the thing, I don't know if it was in the areas where there was mandatory evacuations, but if there was...
Yeah, it makes it really tough to get to work.
Yeah, like, not only that, but seriously, you would keep a store open during a mandatory evacuation? Who's gonna come in the shop?
Right.
Like, seriously.
Right. And yeah, maybe Walmart's thinking like they're going to protect you, like from the storm. I don't, it's a big building. Well, that's a little bit in more of the bizarro world we were talking about. You can't get any more bizarre than this. You want to talk about impeachment a little bit?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
President Trump has been. They're going through the delegations for impeachment. Nancy Pelosi, and it's my general thought about this. Mostly aimed at the Democrats. If you're dedicating this much money and time and resources to getting him impeached, just put that towards the candidates, the Democratic candidates, to get him not elected this next election. Because at best, if he was to get impeached based on how long it typically takes government, it would not only would it only be that Pence would become president, it'd only be for like 3, 4, maybe 5 months at most.
Right.
Like, and
Are you tired of the impeachment bit? Are you tired of it? You had the whole thing with Mueller and the investigation, and
yeah,
you just kind of they're going up the same sort of barking up the same tree again.
yeah, and it's like, seriously, you're using all this money. Now, if he does get reelected, then I would rededicate my resources back to it if I was a Democrat. But at this point, the money and time would be better used to bolster the Democratic candidates, because it'd be about as useless as it gets.
Are you ready for election season this time, Vincent?
I'm getting ready.
It's good. You got a whole year
Yeah.
until we vote. You know, do you think that's a good amount of time, or do you think
Yeah.
we should all just stick working, keep producing, and then maybe revisit this back in May or June of next year, and then say, okay, let's elect our guy? Because we've already had 2 debates on the Democratic side. It's still a year away. You're 13 months away.
Yeah. I mean,
Is it too much, or are you good with it? You're ready. You're ready.
I'm personally getting myself ready. I'm basically waiting until I know who the candidates are going to be for president before I start focusing on it.
Do you have a preference?
I'm independent, so no.
Do you think Elizabeth Warren can win?
Honestly,
Honestly?
like I said, I'm not going to be...
Bernie Sanders, you think he can win? Think he can beat Trump?
Personally,
Nobody can beat Trump, you're saying?
I'm
Can
not
Biden-
sure. I'm not sure. I'm just not focusing on it until we get to the point where there's only 2 people left.
What do you think it is about Trump that people are going to reelect him?
The fact that he's the most social... He's got the younger generation more...
Fired up?
Yeah, because he actually acts on social media.
Right?
That, and he talks about topics that young people actually care about.
Right? Gotcha.
So
that's how he's keeping them going.
yeah, I mean, being part of the social net.
He's certainly part of the social... Yeah, I think he texted 87 times last weekend. 87... I mean, tweeted, not texted. That's 87 tweets. That is a guy who loves tweeting.
Yeah.
I've got to get on that tweet thing.
Yeah.
All right, now, finally, not so bizarre, we'll end this with this. Want to talk about the bus systems in the area.
Well,
Are they getting better? Are they worse? Or what are you talking about?
I've been hearing stories from people, sometimes secondhand, but where the bus system in the area is either missing people, not coming to stops, various other things that are causing people issues. And there's a few simple fixes. Like, if DCT, which is the local bus system, wants to get more people but not worry too much about money, they can just ask the Department of Unemployment in the area to get people...
Well, why aren't they stopping at the stops? You're saying it has to do with money?
It's more so having to do with the amount of time
It takes to get to the stop?
Yeah, but sometimes they're skipping them because they're too busy.
Well, they're too busy. Their job is to pick up people in the bus, isn't it?
Yeah, but if there's a chance that there's no one there, or one time I was waiting for the bus and I called in and I found out the bus that was supposed to come to me had to go all the way to Cambridge.
Right.
So that sometimes happens, and it caused me and a family to have to get different rides.
Right. So what are you saying? What are you thinking they got? What do they think? What's the solution?
Like,
what's part of the solution?
Like, they need to get more people on to...
Driving, you mean?
Yeah.
Or more buses?
Both.
Right. We see those buses around. I mean, they're in Easton for sure. I don't know. They go between Cambridge and Easton. Is that right?
Cambridge, Easton, Trapp, basically all over the Midshore.
Denton too. They go to Denton.
Yeah.
Too? That's a lot. That's a
The
large,
base is in Denton.
The base is in Denton. That's a large area.
So it's understandable if the bus would be late, but something like...
Are more people using the bus? More people using it?
Yeah, but here's the thing about... Well, not that many people are using it, but the thing of it is, if they go to the unemployment place and get those people to drive the bus...
As long as they're qualified, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They don't have to pay for the first 20 hours per week. The unemployment office does.
Oh, there you go.
So that solves that major problem. It saves them on money, and it gets them more drivers.
Right.
Now, the bus is breaking down. That's another topic in that's expected sometimes. Buses are gonna break down
over time. Yeah, they're heavily used.
Yeah, so it's understandable that they would break down. So they need to have a few spare backup buses just to keep buses flowing.
Well, on that topic, I believe, I'm not positive 100%, but I'm pretty sure that, John General was instrumental in bringing that bus system to the area. And John recently passed away a few months ago. So, I hope that everybody on the busing world, get the buses fixed and keep it going. Because, it's because I've watched that bus system over the course of years become more and more important and more in use. Yeah. So there are probably some reasons for the problem. Now we need a bus system for people who need it.
Yeah, obviously. But at the very least, hopefully DCT will see this episode and actually try to implement that.
Right. Well, I think, again, Vincent, you even just bringing it up, just raising the awareness of it is really important. Any last words? Any words of wisdom for the audience out there? They're not going to see you for another couple months after this show.
Basically, just keep your mind clear and focus on the tasks that you have to do, because if you try to understand the world, all you're giving yourself is a headache at best, and you might consider suicide given some of the stories I've heard.
That was almost perfect. I should mention on that, if anyone is actually considering suicide, there was just a suicide prevention walk last week. So, but it's tough out there. Be careful. And thanks, Vincent, for coming in. We'll see you in a couple months. This has been Raising Awareness with Vincent Sissom.
Yep.
Raising awareness on the disability issue and what you can do and learn to just make everybody feel at home and welcome. Thanks for watching.
See ya.